afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I am Ada Marie Babineaux. I am the founder and director of the San Antonio Black International Film Festival. And we're so excited that this SABIFF 2025 is a year of action vision. And we are for our Ubuntu Community Awards, honoring visionary leadership in San Antonio and Texas, beyond San Antonio. So we are so happy to bring to the stage Deborah Omowale Jarmon, the founder. Well, I want to say the CEO and executive director, because I can't claim founder, can I?
No, please
okay,
don't.
So I have to correct that. Like, please don't. What you have done in terms of, oh my God, the last 6-7 years, to take this museum forward, San Antonio African American Community Archive Museum forward, has been astounding. So that right there is action vision. So we're happy to award you with our Ubuntu Community Awards. So Deborah, I just want to, for those who are outside of San Antonio, I want you to tell us a little bit about the community, the SAAACAM, San Antonio Community Archive Museum. So tell us about SAAACAM, what it is, what is happening with the museum in the next couple of years.
Well, thank you, Ada. First of all, I have to say I am honored and extremely humbled to be considered for this prestigious award. It's humbling. So thank you so much. SAAACAM was founded in 2017, really as a grassroots effort, and it still is, to make sure that the stories of African descendants here in San Antonio were told. Our founders, Everett Fly, who is a National Humanities Award winner, under the Obama administration, and then community advocate George Frederick, came together at a time when San Antonio was celebrating its tricentennial. And what Everett noticed on the timeline was that African descendants were mentioned in just 2 places, and one during the period of enslavement, and second, they mentioned George Gervin and the San Antonio Spurs. So Everett said, oh, this is not going to do.
Yeah.
There's so much more history out there, so many amazing stories of hope and joy and progress in San Antonio that needs to be told. Hence, they founded SAAACAM. SAAACAM was run by volunteers who had a passion to make sure those stories were told. We started at 430 North Cherry Street, which is the historic home of the Suttons. And for those who are not from San Antonio, I'll give you just a little piece of a Sutton that you may know, and that would be Percy Sutton. Percy Sutton was the founder of Inner City Broadcasting, and also at one time owned the Apollo Theater. He was Malcolm X's attorney. He was borough president for Manhattan. So that is just a piece of the amazing legacy of the Suttons. That home where SAAACAM started was visited by Booker T. Washington and George Washington Carver, Thurgood Marshall, to name a few. So when we talk about the history of African descendants here in San Antonio, it's rich. It's so much more than the period of enslavement and George Gervin and the San Antonio Spurs. So fast forwarding, we're still keeping that grassroots model. But in the 7 years, we have amassed over 120,000 digital impressions in our digital collection. We are feverishly working to get all of those online with finding aids. I don't even know how many oral histories we've collected. Those take a little longer to get uploaded because we typically transcribe them, but our team has decided to forego transcription right now just to get them up. But we're making sure that the metadata and finding aids are there, and we'll still transcribe them in the background. We have 65, I believe, physical collections of things, and we have just really grown from being volunteer led to now we have a space in the La Villita Historic Arts Village where we're open 7 days a week at no charge to the public. And with the help of the city and Bexar County, the county that San Antonio is in, we were able to purchase the old Crest and Grant department stores. Both of those stores, they're next to each other and the floors are connected. It will give us 103,000 square feet of.
So Deborah, I want to just stop you right there because no, that is, I don't think people realize the significance of that. Because that historical store does have a history and how it dealt with Black folks and how it dealt with Black folks here in the city. So for you all to acquire that building is just amazing. And I mean, like, how did that come about to get that particular building? Because at one time we were segregated from that building. I mean, in terms of sitting at the counter, and I mean, you're going to bring the whole history alive, I'm sure, with the museum. But that's major. I don't think people understand that.
It is major. And when you look at a place where we couldn't eat at the lunch counter there. We could buy clothes there, but we couldn't try them on. We could buy shoes there, but we couldn't try them on. I'm old enough to remember when my parents had to trace my feet on a brown paper bag, cut the bag out, and then go to stores to see if the shoes fit. And I remember very well my mom wanted me to have some Buster Brown shoes because she was very particular about the shoes that she put on my feet, and I couldn't try them on. I remember that like it was yesterday. Wow. So for us to have negotiated with then Gray Street Partners, the city of San Antonio, Bexar County, the late Dr. Carrie Lattimore had something to do with that, for us to get in a space that was prohibited to now a space that is going to be inclusive, that will highlight Black brilliance in all of its fashion. We'll have over 30,000 square feet of exhibitions. And at SAAACAM, we don't call them exhibitions, we call them experiences.
I love it.
An exhibition is something that you see. An experience is something that you see, feel, do, all of that.
I love it.
And it will be a museum like no other, where we have a closed AI system. So a number of our exhibitions will be very interactive, to where you don't have to ask scripted questions. You can ask questions and either the person will know about it or they won't. And when I think about all of the wonderful stories that we've collected from San Antonians, but Miss Ada, we don't have your story. And as the founder of SABIFF, we need your story and the work that you've done in filmmaking, period. So Miss Ada, we need to get you in.
She put me on the spot.
Yes. But when we think about that, there will be 4 exhibition halls, 21 total exhibits. 48% of the building will be mission generated, will provide mission generated revenue. Why is that important? We're a community archive and museum, which means we tell the stories of the community unadulterated. We don't edit them. We tell the story. And because of that, we are not privy to federal and state money.
Thank you.
And now we just found out we've lost some city funding, but it has nothing to do with the city of San Antonio. I just told you all that they supported us purchasing the building, but it has everything to do with how they're supporting us is worded with the current administration. So we will have an auditorium, a speakeasy, classrooms, special event space, and a 12-room boutique hotel that will all provide revenue back into us being able to keep our costs to a minimal so we can still serve the community that we were founded to serve. We're looking at having free field trips for all of our babies. We're thinking seventh grade and above. So the content's going to be a little interesting for younger students. But with using AI, and we're going to do one more thing, and I'll let you ask more questions because I could talk about this all day.
No, I'm just soaking it in. This is great. I love it.
Because so we are telling a story that is a 360 story. Our halls are transformation, citizenship, persistence, and healing. But in so many ways, it is going to be a disruptive story. There is this thought that there weren't enslaved people in Bexar County. Yeah, no, that's not right.
Oh man, you know what? I get it. I get excited because I just came from a family reunion, and one of your staff told me about an exhibit of my great grandmother that was in Beaumont. That's how I found out about it initially.
Wow!
I can't remember when I went to one of your events at Carnivore. She told me about it. Anyway, down the line, you know, we have a family reunion. We have someone who traced the history of my grandmother, who was during the WPA. They were interviewing enslaved people. She was an enslaved person, 102, living in Beaumont. And my cousin, who's doing for her PhD, did an exhibit on her, whole exhibit on Agatha Babineaux. And so when you talk about exhibits, and it just excites me because to see that and know that my lineage, and to think slavery wasn't that far ago, because that's my great grandmother, not my great 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 grandmother.
You and I both are 3 generations removed from being enslaved. That is yesterday. That is yesterday. But there are people that don't think that existed, or they think, well, they were urban slaves, so they were treated better.
That's the narrative that this administration is trying to give, that slavery was a beautiful experience. I mean,
yeah, that's a whole different thing. But we have bills of sales that say something different. The one of the naval commanders for the Republic of Texas, whose photos are in the Alamo, we have the bills of sale for 7 of his enslaved people. Wow. And it's no problem telling you it's Thomas Grayson. So the Pearl is Grayson Street. It's named after him. Well, that's just one. Most of the defenders of the Alamo held enslaved people at one time. And the person who told the story of the Alamo was enslaved to Stephen Austin. So I'm sorry, to Travis. And that was the gentleman named Joe. So we're telling a story that is going to disrupt the narrative. And because of that, we will have a Bridging Divides room. So we want to make sure, in addition to having a quiet space for people to relax, think on their own, chill, whatever the word you want to use, that's called our Sanctuary of Solace. Before you get there, there will be an option to talk to mental health workers, bridging workers, as we're calling it, to help you bridge what you've learned to your past and help you think through how to deal with the lies that have been told.
Is that the last room? That room?
That will be the next to the last room. And it's optional. It's not, you won't walk through it. You will walk by it. And if you want to go in, you can.
Okay.
So we're doing a number of things that are revolutionary.
That is because when I went to the African American Museum in DC at the Smithsonian, who's undergoing a whole lot of shit right now. But when I went to that museum, I didn't start at the bottom. When I initially went, I started at the top.
Oh,
and then I went down.
The fun part.
So many people start at the bottom, and you're exhausted. You're drained by the time you go from slavery to Emmett Till. You are
Yeah, it's
drained.
a lot.
And so, yeah, I didn't do it that way, but there needed to be mental health counselors around. So that what you're doing, you're right, is very revolutionary and needed. Because
And
coming off that,
we're starting, we're not starting at the Middle Passage. As a matter of fact, we're really not talking about the Middle Passage.
mm-hmm.
We are talking about enslavement in San Antonio, South Texas, the self-emancipated going south to Mexico, what it was like to cross the Rio Grande. We have a lot of scholarship on that. So we are talking about it, but we actually start.
Mm-hmm.
The first exhibit is entitled Rhythms of Joy, and I love this exhibit. And by the way, if you're in San Antonio, you've got to put on your calendar October 25th at 9 a.m. We're opening the Crest building for you to walk through, see the exhibits, hear what they're going to talk about based on what the community said they wanted, and you'll be able to provide us feedback on every corner of the building. So super excited about that. But
is that going to be that information? The date is on your website?
Yes, October 25th at 9 a.m. It is on our website, and thank you for showing that. But our first exhibit is entitled Rhythms of Joy, and that is going to be just as it sounds. Even though we were brought here, we were against our will, there were things that we carried with us that can't anybody take from us. And that's our joy. Our ability to, in spite of circumstances, make music, even in pain, in sorrow, the ability to dance, the ability to love, all of that. They tried to strip it from us. But as you can see from the cultural appropriation, they weren't successful, and they're trying to take it from us. So we're starting from a place of joy.
I love that. I love that. So what's I'm just thinking about just how you all came up with what to do. You had this big, okay, I'm gonna do a museum. Because you came from archives and now you have a big old building and you know everything else that's going with it. So where did you get, or how did you all come together to decide what the pillars were going to be for the museum and how it was going to be structured? Like, did you go through to visit many museums across the country, get your ideas? I mean, tell us a little about how that came together.
Wow. So our team went to corners of the earth, actually, from Canada to England to Scotland to Mexico,
South Africa.
South Africa. Yes. And we didn't just visit museums that told Black stories. We visited museums and just period, and not just history museums, because art museums, they tell visual stories. So we looked at best practices in all of those places. That's number one. I'm sorry, that's number two. Number one, we asked the community, and we have lots of photos where we have the community at tables picking out photos and writing on whiteboards. These are the kinds of stories that we want to tell. Then we looked for an exhibit designer, an experienced designer. And let me tell you, that was a process because they're all white. Okay. And they will bring in, and so recently we found that there is a new Black exhibit design company, but these white design companies, they want to bring in Black consultants if needed, but then they want to write the story. And I said, no.
See, that's Action Vision. That's who she is. She's like, no, we ain't doing it like that.
No, there is no one that can tell our
Wow.
story
Right.
like we can tell our story. And Ada, I just happen to, and whenever I say that, it's a God thing, because God will put you in places, as you know, where you don't even understand necessarily why you're there. But I went to the Association of African American Museums in person for the first time a few years ago. Prior to that, I was on Zoom, and I got to meet Secretary Lonnie Bunch,
Oh,
which
oh.
was, yes, I'm fangirling, but I got to meet him. Meanwhile, I was able to speak to a number of exhibit designers, and there was this small company that I was interested in what they were presenting, and it was a hologram. And you could ask, it was Frederick Douglass. And they said, you can ask him whatever you want to ask him. I'm like, whatever? And so I was stumped. I'm like, I don't know what this means. And so then they gave me some questions to start, and then I was on a roll. I'm like, this is so cool.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, can I have your information? But more importantly, I watched them talk to other museums.
Mhm.
Now, it's a Jewish guy. I didn't know it at the time. Well, okay, so I knew Andrew was Jewish, but I didn't know the origin of the other person. The other person is Muslim, excuse me. And I thought, oh, when I found out, that's interesting. Their director of interpretation is a Black woman, not someone that they have to fly in to make it look good.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, mhm.
Their project manager is Asian Pacific. She is from India.
Wow.
Their creative director is also Muslim.
Hmm.
Their architect is a Turkish woman. You see where I'm going here?
Yeah, very diverse. Wow.
I'm like, oh my goodness. The art director is a Black man.
Wow.
I said, okay, I want to talk to this company a little more. And
Uh-huh.
the first thing I said was, we already have the stories.
Mhm.
We asked the community, what do they want to have in this museum? Is that a problem? And their continents lit up. They
Wow.
said, great, that is exactly what we want.
Mm.
We want authentic stories. We don't want stories that we write. And I'm like, oh.
Mm. Wow.
So that's how we got them. And so October 25th will be our 5th community meeting.
Can you say who they are? Is that okay?
Yes,
Oh,
they're called Time Looper. So
time.
they just completed the Go-Go Museum in Washington, D.C.
Oh my God. Wow. That's my old
Yes,
stomping ground. That's my old stomping ground.
yes.
Wow.
It's a small museum, but it's so fun and so interactive. But they do museums all over the world. Time
Wow.
Looper. Who knew?
Time
It's
looper.
yes.
That is God sending that to you. I'm telling
It,
you. Oh
it
my
really
God.
was. And again, I didn't know that their team was even that diverse. But when I first talked to them, but I knew I was looking for a diverse team.
Mhm.
San Antonio is a multicultural city, which is why, even though we're the San Antonio African American Community Archive and Museum, our mission statement is to collect, preserve, and share the history and cultural heritage of African descendants.
Mhm.
Because we recognize there's African Mexican, African Indigenous, there's African,
Mhm.
African Caribbean, African American. We have all of these people from, diasporic people that are
Mhm.
make up this rich place that we call San Antonio. So we want to make sure that they understand their stories are a part of the story. So
Yeah,
it's
and
not
it's not just African American. So that's
correct.
awesome. Yes, you got to put that in. Well,
And when
let
you
me.
think about it, how long has it been that since we've really been considered Americans? That's a rhetorical question.
Since we went from color to Negro to Black to African American. We didn't gone through so many changes with
Mhm.
trying to define definition. So let me ask you, what brought you to San Antonio? I mean, did you ever imagine that your path coming here would lead you to be the CEO of the what's to be the third largest African, I can't say American, is it? Third largest Black museum in the
Yes,
country?
we could say that
Okay.
in the country. I
Yeah.
had no idea. I thought I was coming here to be with 5 grandchildren, my son, daughter-in-law, and to open a bed and breakfast, which you've had the opportunity of
Which was
coming
awesome, people, by the way. I was hurt when she closed it, but this was her bigger purpose.
to. I and that is really true, Ada. My sons and my best friend and I, we prayed and fasted about me moving from Oakland, which is where I was living at the time, to San Antonio. And we all heard God say, this is where I was supposed to be. And so I moved here in February of 2012, and my son lost his job. He was working for KCI at the time, which is the medical device company. They've gone through a number of iterations, but they're back to KCI. He lost his job in November, and I'm like, okay, God, I was really good in Oakland.
Mhm.
I was really good. My
Mhm.
house was almost paid for. I was retired, going to wineries every day. It's like I was so what did you bring me to San Antonio for? It's hot. There's
Black
no
folks are
wine.
Black folks are all spread out. Can't find them.
Yes. I'm like, what's
Mhm.
happening here?
Mhm.
But I've lived long enough, Ada, to know that when God tells you to do something, to stay the course, and that He's faithful even when we're not. So even though I was really miserable, which was one of the things I did was, okay, God, since I'm here, can I at least be released from the bed and breakfast so I can go see my grandbaby since they have now moved to Atlanta? Well, they went to Michigan and now they're in Atlanta. Uh, and so I prayed for that. A man knocked on the door, Ada, and offered me cash money for the house.
For the bed and breakfast?
Not for the house. I did not sell our business. Wouldn't
Okay.
do it. And they tried everything to get the name Eva's Escape from us. And I'm like, no, 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 no. This
Mhm.
is our legacy.
Well, that's
Eva,
your mother. That's your
yes,
mother. I mean, you definitely
yes.
can't
So
sell that.
you know. But he offered us cash for the house. And
Wow.
that was, I prayed about it, and about 3 weeks later, he knocked on the door.
Wow.
So I just stayed the course. I was volunteering at Dream Voice,
Right.
and I got a text message saying, "Hey, there is a job opening. SAAACAM is looking for an executive director. If you know someone, send them this information." I got that text 3 times. The third time I got it, they said, "Well, we're sending." I said, "I got this text. Thank you. If I know someone, I will let you know," because they were looking for someone with specific qualifications. One was a master's in museum studies. I am a retired air traffic controller. There's museum studies and then there's air traffic. They don't go together.
Right.
so
Right.
so they said, when I responded, they said, "No, well, we're sending it to you." And I thought about it, prayed about it, talked to my husband about it, and applied. Well, they had actually already selected a person.
Wow.
But when they saw my application come through, it was basically, hold up, wait a minute. And the person that they selected met those qualifications.
Wow.
Then this is where it gets really interesting. They said, okay, Deborah can be the connection to the community, so let's hire them both. And I was okay. I'm just being obedient. I prayed. God said apply. I'm just trying to be
Wow.
obedient.
Right.
Well, the person didn't want to share the title. They never showed up to work
After they were hired?
after they were hired, never came to work.
Wow. Wow.
And so then they asked me, "Well, do you think you could do it all?" I said, "I'll try.
That's all you need is that attitude.
I'll
You'll
do my
try.
best."
And the rest is history. The rest
Well,
is history.
I just want to say one thing. My mother was amazing. Two lessons that she taught me was we serve an excellent God who deserves our excellence, and to leave a space better than we found it, which is really a Kwanzaa principle. Um, so I had a personal mission statement, have a personal mission statement. And this job aligned with that. My mission statement was based on those two things that my mother always instilled in me. And that is to leave a legacy of love and service for my family and community.
Wow.
And SAAACAM allows me to lean into that.
Perfectly lean into that. Wow. And that was one of my questions, but I see Eva is at the head of that answer. And that was who had a big impact or influence on you as far as your ability to lead? Because a lot of people call themselves leaders, but they really don't know how to lead. Because and the Ubuntu word is the meaning of Ubuntu, I am because we are.
Yeah.
Is so inclusive of having a leader that leans into the community and they support each other. It's reciprocal in terms of your growth and development and impact. But beyond your mommy, who else had an impact on you in terms of your leadership roles? I mean, were you always like the kid in the classroom who's like volunteering to do stuff and taking over stuff?
That was me. And remind me to say something about Ubuntu as well. That was me. So my mother was a teacher in Selma. Her teaching certificate came from the Alabama State Teachers College, but when she moved to Chicago, escaping Jim Crow, her teaching certificate was not any good. My dad was orphaned and he never finished high school. He went on to get his GED, and actually he graduated from Moody Bible College. So I was my mother's only child, and my dad had daughters from previous relationships. They were intent on me having opportunities that they felt they didn't have. So my father worked for the Pennsylvania Railroad. That's not what it is anymore. It's Consolidated Rail. It's actually who he worked for. So we had passes where we could travel on the railroad, travel via train. So I got to see Canada and the United States from a train car or from the back seat of our station wagon or camper with the green book in my hand or the triptych in my hand, learning how to read, all of that, or the SO guide. As we traveled the United States, and everywhere we went, I didn't go to one museum. I went to every museum that was available for Blacks to go to, Negroes to go to at that time. Every single one.
Deborah, this is 360. This is 360.
It really is. I came to Hemisphere as a child. I went to the New York World's Fair. I have pictures of me at the New York World's Fair. So it's just really, so it's that. So my parents, and then we went to an amazing church, and I went to Mount Olivet Baptist Church in Columbus, Ohio. And when I think about our pastor, it was a large church, Pastor H. Beecher Hicks Sr., and I think about all of the opportunities from Junior Girl Scouts. We went to White Gloves and Party Manners, which was a class at the department store in Columbus, and then the 17 workshop. And there was no such thing of being a young person and not sitting on a committee at church. And you weren't on the committee to say we have a young person on the committee.
As a bystander, right?
No, you were not a bystander. If anything, you were an upstander. You had to know what those committees did. And we're talking annual days, deacons, trustees, all of that, missionaries, girl, all of that.
Mhm.
And something else that was so impactful, every February, Black History Week, because it was just a week then,
Mhm.
we lined our hall with these beautiful black and white photos of these amazing icons. They were probably 11 by maybe 16 by 20. They were beautiful.
Mhm.
And we had to know about every person. So
Wow.
when someone would ask me who was Roy Wilkins, who was A. Philip Randolph, who was Langston Hughes, so we're not talking about like the Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King. We're talking about
Mhm.
Wilma Rudolphs and
Mhm.
Thurgood Marshall, and we had to know those people.
Wow.
And we had to create Black history programs based on this long wall of folks. So
I didn't learn about those people till college. So that's for you to have gotten that as a child is freaking phenomenal. Wow.
yeah, it was intense. But I'm so glad because as you said, you didn't get that until college. And that's what I get from so many other people.
Mm-hmm. And I had to go to HBCU to get it. I had to go to specifically an HBCU university to get that history.
Wow.
I missed for 12 years. What are the biggest? I know we have to wrap up because I know you have a busy schedule. But what are the biggest challenges that you've had to handle and overcome as CEO of this museum? And I'm thinking the biggest is money, funding. But you tell me. I mean, what is it that you constantly having to overcome in order to get to the other side? I mean, to where you
Well,
are now.
outside of funding, I would say community trust. So when
Mm,
I took on this job, I knew about SAAACAM and I knew what we were trying to do. I had visited Cherry Street a couple of times and I saw the excitement, but I also saw how people were hesitant to get involved. And our community, unfortunately, has been uh, what's the word Malcolm X uses?
bamboozled.
Bamboozled. Our community has been bamboozled so much that it's hard to trust someone. So trust with their stories, huge. How do I know that you're going to steward my story? That's a great question. How do I know you're going to care for? So for us, they're not artifacts; they're heirlooms.
Yeah.
We're calling them what they are. They're heirlooms. Um, how do I know that you're going to care for that? How do I know that you're going to be here? So building that trust and longevity in our community is our biggest hurdle. And also getting the word out about who we are. Funding wouldn't be a problem if our community knew who we are because we have everything we need right here in this community.
That's
Our
true.
capital campaign is $102 million. About 40 million of that we're getting through tax credits, but we still have 65 or so left. So it's actually 105 million, excuse me. So we have about 65 million left. We've raised about 14 of that.
Wow.
So we have a $50 million gap. That's just 50 people with $1 million to write off. I would say 10 of them are right here in San Antonio.
Wow. Does that you talking in the millions, girl? That doesn't scare you? That doesn't make you lose sleep at night? I mean, I'm
Um,
like, oh, we just need just $1 million, you know. But
well, so
if you think about that, if the trust was there, you could get community people to donate $100 or $20 or $50. I mean, look,
absolutely,
Obama's campaign was done on $5, $10, and $15 whatever, but it has to be a million people doing that or a zillion
exactly.
people doing that. Yeah.
But we cover, it's not just here in San Antonio. We go all the way to the Louisiana border because there isn't strong history museum for African descendants that's east. We have the Buffalo Soldiers Museum, which they're doing great work in Houston. We go about 200 miles to the west of the border because Estevanico, excuse me, and that was his enslaved name. And I don't want to butcher his real name, so I'm not going to say it. And by the way, I'm not our historian. But anyway, Estevanico, when he came to this part of the country with the Spanish colonists, he ended up over in New Mexico. So we're tracing his steps and telling that story as well. So we have that, and then we're going south of the Rio Grande because self-emancipated enslaved folks didn't go to Canada from here. Most slavery was in Mexico was outlawed in 1829, most forms of slavery. So we escaped going south. And so there are Black colonias, as they call them, just south of the Rio Grande. They still celebrate Juneteenth.
Wow.
In Mexico. So we have a large area that we cover. And to your point, if people just understood what we did and trusted us, that 50 million can come right from there. Do I lose sleep at night though? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you sound so like, oh yeah, well we need, but I know that I'm stressing over just like little stuff. I mean, you're dealing with big, way over the top, things on your plate. What is at the end of the day, and we can wrap this up because I know you have to go, but at the end of the day, what are you most proud of at this point? Because I know the proudness is going to grow exponentially, but at this day, what are you most proud of?
So can it be two things?
Yeah, girl, just let it be. Me too.
So I'm most proud of, number one, the team that I work with every day. When I think about the museum professionals that I call them, and only two of them really have a background in museum work, but they have used their talents, their gifts, their education to lean into this mission, and they come to work every day with our 6 core values at the top of what they do, which they're love, respect, excellence, growth, stewardship, and creativity. And it's all for the community. That's number one. Number two, I believe that Hal Moore, who would be my maternal great grandfather, and I don't know, we haven't been able to determine yet who my grandfather's, we believe we know who his mother was. She disappears from the census right after he was born, we believe. But I am proud because I believe I'm doing a work that they would be proud of. So, and not just them, but my parents and everyone in between.
Your
And
ancestors, yeah, they're smiling. They are definitely smiling down on you, definitely.
And descendants.
Those yet unborn. I mean,
Yeah.
you are marking your place in history as CEO, but also as someone who's going to be just embodied in that museum forever. This is your legacy, girl. This is it. This is your legacy.
Wow.
Beyond being a mommy and a grandmommy and all of that stuff, this is major to the history of San Antonio, and we are very grateful for all that you have done, because we know it's not easy. We know it's not a piece of cake. We know that you have to climb mountains and just do any and everything to have moved it to this point. And we are looking at January 2027.
January 2028.
January 2028 for the opening.
Mhm.
But right now, people, right now you can support. You can support and contribute to SAAACAM. I'm
Yes.
putting up the actual. Let me put up the website. Is what I want to do. You can go to the website and donate. We are, with our Ubuntu Community Awards, donating 10% of the proceeds that we get. It's little, but we know that this is something that we are passionate about seeing in San Antonio, because you all gonna be the shit when it happens. I mean, this is the go-to. This is the
Yes.
go-to. You talking
Yes.
hotels, cafe,
Yes.
museums, school, education, speakeasy, music. I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait. So thank you, Deborah, for your time and
Thank you, Ada.
your commitment to history, culture, and your people. We appreciate you.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, so you have a good one. And I got you out before your next meeting.
All righty. Talk to you
All
later.
right. Take care.